Earlier, we had heard from Fed Governor Jay Powell on his reaction to a Republican-led congressional push to force the Federal Reserve to open its books. So this is what he had to say about that.
You know, nothing the Fed does it happens on monetary policy without the whole world watching. So the idea that there's some secret thing happening is just false. It's in violent conflict with the facts.
All right, we're pretty emphatic from Jay Powell, but what exactly does Congress want to do? Among other things, bills in both the House and the Senate call for the elimination of all restrictions to current audit powers and would allow congressional oversight of Fed activities like credit facilities, securities purchases, and, of course, QE. Well, joining us now is the congressman who is sponsoring the bill in the House, Congressman Scott Garrett from New Jersey, and, of course, Mort Zuckerman, my host for the hour, is staying with me on this. So, Congressman, exactly what, because kind of bill in one form and another has been brought to the House 6 times since 2009. So what do you hope to accomplish with this?
So what our bill is, we have an acronym for it. It's the FRAT Act, the Federal Reserve Accountability and Transparency Act. And what we're trying to do is to bring those things, accountability and transparency, to the Fed. And that is because the only thing that it's Congress is the only thing that stands between the extensive, broad regulatory powers of the Fed and the American people. And when the Congress has a constitutional oversight responsibility that has not been able to fully implement over the years, as the regulatory authority and the power of the Fed has expanded tremendously, especially after Dodd-Frank in 2010.
Well, there is some fair argument, as the congressman puts forward. The general concern, I would say, in the business community is that once you get the Congress involved, their motivation may be, shall we say, be political rather than economic. And that you have to hope that monetary policy and the economic consequences of that come through on the basis of an independent analysis of the economy and not in terms of political, shall we say, benefits that might go to one party or another.
Partisan politics.
Right. And that, I think, is the one thing. You don't want to undermine the confidence in the financial system of this country, and you'd have to be very careful how the Congress gets involved.
So, I mean, he has a great point, right? I mean, there has never been one issue in Washington that has not been a subject to partisan politics.
You think? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
And I guess the pushback to that would, and I agree with you, I'm just kidding.
I know.
But the pushback to that is the whole idea that the Fed has lived a life totally independent of politics and the political pressures, I think is a myth that the Fed continues to perpetuate over the years. All you have to do is look back just a couple sessions ago when the Democrats were in control of Congress. Barney Frank was there, and he was basically berating the Fed that they were not doing enough with regard on the regulatory side with regard to credit cards and some of those issues. And lo and behold, an issue that the Fed had not taken up for forever, all of a sudden they took it. So there goes the idea that there's some sort of independent Fed. All we're really asking for is that it be more transparent, that you bifurcate some of the arguments that they make on the monetary side from the regulatory side. For example, there's a blackout period, as you know, when they make certain policies on monetary policy. When they come before Congress and we ask them some basic questions over here on regulatory points, they'll say, oh, no, we're in a blackout period. We can't talk to you about that. Well, wait. That has absolutely nothing to do with some of the regulatory questions that they have. We may ask them some simple... Go ahead.
No, look, I think there's some credibility here on that in the sense that, look, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, right, gentlemen, that we were witnessing Ben Bernanke in Washington being lambasted for his decisions around AIG. If you ask Hank Greenberg, you know, who believes that the government was totally biased when it came to the bailout, they were only just benefiting Goldman Sachs. And look, we've seen stories, right, about incompetence at the Fed. So I don't disagree that there's probably issues that need to be cleaned up there. But is really opening them up to congressional approval the right answer? Is that really the answer?
Sure, but I think it's part of the answer. For example, all other regulatory agencies have a conflict of interest rule with regard to their employees. It doesn't apply to the Fed for some reason. Why not? The president agrees with us on an issue of cost-benefit analysis. He signed an executive order that all agencies under his purview has to implement cost-benefit analysis.
Right.
Doesn't apply to the Federal Reserve. Why not? You can go down the list on these things.
Okay, so from the Fed, Richard Fisher, the Dallas Fed president, he says, quote, who in their right mind would ask Congress of the United States, who can't cobble together a fiscal policy to assume control of monetary policy.
Okay. So on the monetary policy side, we have legislation that goes to the issue to say, okay, here's all we're asking you to do. Let's set up a standard and abide by that standard. But if you find during times of crisis or other times that you need to go outside of the standard that is selected, then simply report back to Congress and tell us what's your explanation for it. They said, oh, no, you can never ask us to do that. And we would say, why not? We're not hamstringing you. We're not telling you that you have to go in this particular way. We're just saying, here's a way to go, and if you don't like it, report back and explain why. Seems...
I mean, it's